years. Who do you think said this? They're monsters. They're evil. They're a party of hate, evil, and Satan. If I don't win, there will be a bloodbath in this country.
Oh, come on.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video covers a Fox News panel discussion that took an unexpected turn when Harold Ford Jr. challenged Jesse Watters, Greg Gutfeld, Dana Perino, and Kennedy after they criticized liberals over political rhetoric. What began as a one-sided conversation quickly shifted when Harold questioned whether the same standards should apply to everyone. Once he read a particular quote aloud, the mood on the panel changed immediately. Stay tuned because the most revealing moments happen later in the discussion, where the contradictions become hard to ignore. Before we begin, leave a comment and let us know where you're watching from. I always enjoy seeing viewers from around the world. Now, let's get started.
Calls for liberals to maybe ease up on all the nasty talk, like painting Trump and Republicans as Nazis and fascists 24/7. After the shooting, protesters were holding signs saying death to tyrants. And that kind of extreme rhetoric from the left isn't hard to find these days. Listen to some just from the past week alone, with one literally minutes before the shooting took place.
Correspondents Association was trying to sort of mend some fences with a guy who wants us dead, figuratively.
Well, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
We are in an era of maximum warfare.
Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder.
The left's also going nuts with conspiracy theories that Trump staged the whole thing.
A good chunk of the country thinks this was staged. And I don't think that. Let me just be clear. I don't think that. But where are we in America that the first conclusion so many people reach because of the polarization and because of some of the things that our elected officials have done?
Folks on the internet say that this was a false flag. But to see people say those kinds of things, it is frustrating and it's disturbing. It shows the issues that we have to try and fix in this country.
Dana, you know, no one likes false flags better than I do. And if there was any evidence of a false flag, I would be all over it. I haven't seen any here, but why do you think that's the first reaction?
Well, I do think that we're living in this really crazy time when people will go immediately online and they'll just filled their feeds all day long, conspiracy theories, and it's the quickest thing to say. I think it's also a way, especially for the left, to be like, obviously, this is Trump's fault, right? In some way, they'll figure it out. You can see from the potential shooter's post that he had a pretty basic diet of resistance, lib content, right? It's basically all your left-wingers that are like really out there. And the reality is that if you say Donald Trump is a fascist and an imminent threat to your family enough times, people are going to believe you. Some people are going to believe you. And that gets to what Greg was saying in the A block. The problem here is that the incentives for Democrats are such that it leads themselves to saying the most inflammatory things possible.
Yeah.
Go back in the Wayback Machine with me. Do you remember this? Joe Biden, when he was president, they made a huge to-do and there was going to be a big announcement. And they'd done all of this research. And what was it? It was not for like a new cancer plan. It wasn't to save Social Security. It wasn't a comprehensive immigration reform. It was because they had done a full-on policy rollout the day that Joe Biden declared Trump was a semi-fascist. And they had a whole plan. They basically gave a big speech. And this was the movement. This is the beginning. This is it. They drew the line in the sand that he is a semi-fascist, which gave basically permission structure for everyone else to say that. And I think if you look then to the media coverage, to the social media, which I think where a lot of this lies, not so much on cable TV, although I don't love it, but a lot of this on the social media sites, that's how we got to where we are today.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. The opening of this segment is remarkable because it's a call for liberals to cool down their rhetoric on a network often accused of using heated political language itself. Jesse Watters starts by arguing that liberals constantly label Trump and Republicans with extreme terms, presenting it as a problem coming from only one side. But that's where the argument becomes shaky. Political rhetoric has been escalating across the board for years. Politicians, media personalities, commentators, and influencers from all sides have contributed to the increasingly hostile tone. Pretending it's a one-sided issue ignores that reality. Jesse then criticizes conspiracy theories surrounding Trump, and while baseless accusations should always be rejected, Dana Perino takes the discussion further by suggesting that repeatedly using strong labels against a politician can influence how people view them. The problem is that this logic could apply to political commentary from any direction. Dana also points to a past comment from Joe Biden describing Trump as a semi-fascist, treating it as a turning point in political discourse. But heated, political attacks are nothing new in America. Candidates have been using harsh language against opponents since the earliest days of the Republic. Focusing on a single modern quote while overlooking that long history creates a misleading narrative.
Kennedy, in the Kimmel joke, we don't want to police jokes, say whatever he wants, but there is an infatuation with assassination jokes. Mm-hmm. This isn't the first one these guys have told. Do you think that plays a role here?
I think that joke was very dark. I think he probably thought it was funny, and it's much less funny in the aftermath of what happened. I don't think there's any way he could have known that there would be another assassination attempt on the president in that room. But there was, and it's a bad look. And, the same way that he and Colbert have to get back to basics in terms of being actually funny, it's the same way that the media has to get off the addictive syringe of the conspiracy theories and Trump is bad, Trump is evil, Trump is Hitler, he's a fascist. That's the easiest thing to do. The harder thing to do is to take his policies issue by issue and dismantle them. It's the smarter thing to do. It would resonate longer term with voters, but they don't want resonation. They want the sugar high. They want the dopamine hit. And so they know that the crazier stuff they say, the faster it travels through the algorithm and it reaches people on TikTok. And that's how a lot of people get their news nowadays. Yeah. So people like AOC know that all they have to do is call Trump a traitor and a fascist. And all of a sudden, they've got 2 million views for their 10-second video. And, that counts as victory here.
And it counts as money. The money pours in and then they stay on their job, Harold.
Yeah, I'm still I'm at a different point than you guys are. I think that we are at such an awful moment in our country, again, where people think that you resolve these kinds of conflicts and disagreements with these kinds of actions. And again, this is not meant to be an insult to anybody around the table, but I think it is dangerously convenient to say, well, it's the Democrats that are doing all this, so we don't need to be spoken to like this.
They wrote a Broadway play about Luigi Mangione.
The President of the United States called for unity that night. And I'm going to just repeat some words for you. In the last 2 years, who do you think said this? Monsters, they're evil. They're a party of hate, evil, and Satan. If I don't win, there will be a bloodbath in this country.
Oh, come on.
That was the hoax, Harold.
That was, come on. Don't.
Tell me. So, Greg,
No, I don't want, we've had this discussion about the blood. He was talking about the automotive industry, Harold. But gee whiz, we're not that dumb.
But Greg, the other people may not digest it like you're digesting. My only point to you is, if we believe that this is a one-sided thing.
It is a one-sided thing.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Greg. Since the beginning of this year, we've had 100 mass shootings in our country.
Yes, define what those are, please. Tell me where they are, where they came from. Do that, Harold, and then I'll listen. But right now you're using a stat. Go ahead. Tell me. I won't interrupt.
You know what? This is the problem. What we're the fact our closest here we can't even let the other finish.
You're bringing up mass shootings when we're talking about this. Why?
I'm telling you, my point is violence in our country has become so acceptable to resolve simple disputes, including political.
The murder rate is the lowest in history, Harold.
With 100 mass shootings, meaning four more people.
Yes, that's why I think you got to look at your stat. If we have the lowest murders in history, what is your mass shooting about? Is it about gang violence? Is it about legal handguns in urban centers?
4 more people being shot, injured, or killed, not including the shooter. That's what I define as a mass shooting. So since January 1st of this year, we've had 101.
Where are they? How are they causing?
They've been all across.
I bet they're all gang related.
They're not. None of these are gang related.
None?
None of these are gang related.
100?
The one, Greg, the night that this happened, brother, in Indiana, on the Indiana University campus, you had 9 people shot because 2 women got into an altercation after midnight over a burger.
Okay.
We are talking about political violence.
I'll look up the 100 shootings that were not gang related.
But my point is, we have gotten to a point in our country where violence is and again,
and we
I
agree.
understand my argument is not popular here.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. This is where Harold Ford Jr. completely changes the conversation. He tells the panel he knows his view may not be popular, then reads a quote describing opponents as monsters and a party of hate. The room immediately becomes tense because nobody knows where he's going with it. When Harold finishes the quote and mentions comments about a potential bloodbath if a candidate loses, the panel quickly pushes back. Greg Gutfeld argues the remark was being taken out of context, but that's exactly what makes the exchange so interesting. The panel had spent the entire segment arguing that political rhetoric matters, yet when strong language from their own side is discussed, the standard suddenly seems different. Harold then shifts to the issue of mass shootings. Greg speculates that most are gang-related, but Harold responds with a specific example that doesn't fit that assumption. Instead of turning the discussion into a shouting match, Harold sticks to facts and keeps pressing the inconsistencies in the argument. That's what made this moment stand out. Rather than relying on insults or emotional reactions, Harold used questions and examples to challenge emotional reactions. Harold used questions and examples to challenge the panel's reasoning. By the end, the contradictions were difficult to ignore. What do you think about this exchange? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.